The Pau'an species was first introduced to Star Wars in Revenge of the Sith, and the most well-known Pau'an was the Grand Inquisitor introduced in the Star Wars Rebels show. The Grand Inquisitor shows up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with a look that differs from Pau'an's appearance in Rebels and Revenge of the Sith, so we will be talking about the more typical appearance of this species in this video. The Pau'an species was gaunt, long-limbed humanoids with gray, furrowed skin and sunken eyes. They were carnivorous but had a preference for raw meat and would often have animals stored and killed directly before eating them. They had sharp, jagged teeth which was well suited to tear through animals' uncooked flesh. The average Pau'an was fairly tall by human standards and tended to be over 2 meters in height. They differed from humans by having 2 stomachs and having hypersensitive hearing. Because of this, they often wore ear coverings to protect their delicate eardrums from loud noises. Pau'an also had extended lifespans, with 700 human years being around the limit of their lifespan. Despite their fearsome appearance and preference for chowing down on freshly slaughtered animals, the Pau'an were a relatively peaceful species, with a few exceptions being Darth Decius and the Grand Inquisitor. They hailed from the planet of Utapau, where long ago they lived on its surface. Due to climate change, vast winds made the surface of the planet unlivable, and the Pau'an eventually retreated to the sinkholes that were scattered across the planet's surface. Within the planet's sinkholes, they built vast cities with the aid of another native species, the Utapau. Because the planet lacked timber, the two species began using the bones of the local animal population to create structures and dwellings in the sinkholes. The Utapau species were hardworking and loved manual labor, while the Pau'an preferred to manage and govern the Utapau. This eventually led to a symbiotic relationship between the two species and allowed them to create amazing sinkhole cities, with Pau City being the planet's capital. During the Clone Wars, the Pau'an and the planet Utapau remained neutral in the conflict, preferring to stay out of politics outside of their planet. However, near the end of the war, the Confederacy secretly occupied the planet and forced the population to help bolster their droid army. When Master Obi-Wan Kenobi arrived looking for General Grievous, the Pau'an port administrator Hion Medon secretly told Kenobi they were being held hostage and Grievous was on planet. This led to the clone army arriving, which eventually led to the liberation of Utapau from Confederate control. The Pau'an's joy was short-lived, as shortly into the Empire's reign they also decided to occupy the planet, as they found it was a strategic location for patrolling the Outer Rim. Following this, many Pau'ans decided to leave the planet, which has led them to becoming much more spread out within the galaxy than before the Empire's reign. An interesting behind the scenes about the Pau'an is that their appearance was originally designed to be what the natives of Mustafar were supposed to look like. With changes to the Revenge of the Sith script and Mustafar natives having almost no screen time, the already completed alien design was given to the Pau'an species, and their original lemur design was eventually used for the Lurman species that was introduced in the Clone Wars show shortly after.